I showed you how to download and patch a MinMod from the website, but now let's learn how to make our own. We're going to make a very simple one just to show how this works. Let's make one that moves this link or this group of links, this menu here, across the page as we scroll down. We can also change the color of it to show you how the CSS works. So the MinMods are made up basically just of JavaScript and CSS, and then we can also make a form that takes any options. So you can see for sticky nav, our form takes these three options and then puts them into the mod. So we'll start with sticky nav to have a base. We'll copy it and paste it, and let's call it crappy example. Okay, open that up. We can get rid of the settings.config file. That's just the settings that we patched into our sticky nav in the last tutorial, so get rid of that. And let's open up config.php. You could open this up in cPanel, in your WordPress front end, in Dreamweaver, Notepad, whatever you want. Let's call it, so we have plugin name here. We want to call it crappy example. We need to make sure that this plugin name matches the folder. Okay, so here you can see our form from sticky nav, header height pixels, header height pixels. See, so this just takes all the variables from this array and puts it in a form like that. Okay, so we need a variable called, let's do scroll amount, and so we type scroll amount, and we have to make sure that the name here, we want a number. We need to make sure the name matches the name of the variable. And then let's do link color. Change that to link color, and we want it to be a text field, and make sure our name matches the variable name, link color. Get rid of this one and make sure we get rid of that comma there. Equations, we don't need any equations yet, but we can go over that in another tutorial. Constants, these are variables that won't change and the user can't change from the front end. So we need one for the selectors that we want to use. So the mover selector, that's the selector that's going to move. We can go to our website, and we want it to be this one, so we're going to go to inspect, and we need to find a good selector for it. So if we want to move the whole menu here, but if we do the menu class, it's going to move all of these menus, which we don't want. We only want the menu in the header. So we have a class called header and a class called menu. So we want the menu in the header. So we could go back here, .header, .menu, and it'll only do that one. Now we also need a selector for the link here. So that's link selector, and then we'll use the header .menu, and then any a tag in there, and we're done with the config file. So we can save that, and now go to your JavaScript file. Now this is the code for sticky nav. We can see here all these variables wrapped in hashtags. Those are going to pull the variables from our config file. So we have scroll amount. We can wrap that in hashtags, and it'll pull that from the form here. So let's get rid of that. So when the window scrolls, if you don't know jQuery, I'll put a link in the description so that you could learn a little more about jQuery, but this example should just show you how this works if you want to use jQuery, JavaScript, whatever. So window.scroll, let's make a function for any time the window scrolls. We want to move our selector to the right. So we know our selector is going to be in this in this constant, which is a variable called mover selector. So we go hashtag mover selector hashtag. Now this is going to replace this variable with whatever value it has. So we want to still wrap it in quotes, because remember that when this gets compiled, it's going to replace that with that when it's compiled. So, or that means when we patch it. So we do dot CSS, we want to add CSS to it, and we want to add a margin right, and we want that margin right to be the amount scrolled from the top times our scroll amount. So we wrap that in hashtags, and it'll be replaced. Okay, we're done with our JavaScript file. Now we can open up our CSS file here, delete all the sticky nav stuff, and if we go back to our config, in the CSS file we want to set the link selector to the link color. So we'll go hashtag link selector, and then color, and then hashtag link color, because that's what we called the variable here. Okay, and put a closing semicolon, and we're done. So now our crappy example mod is finished. We could open up MinMods in our WordPress admin, refresh it, and you see crappy example. Make sure we enable it here, and then see scroll amount and link color. So the scroll amount, let's just do 1, and the link color will do red. Patch it, installation successful. Come back here, and you see that's red, and when we scroll down, nothing happens. See, we have an error here. Let's see what's going on. So if we look, we have a missing parentheses. So we open up crappy example. Now this will show us the compiled version of what we made. Now you can see here we forgot our closing parentheses for this window.scroll and our semicolon. So we're going to open up the JavaScript file, edit, and add the parentheses and the semicolon that we forgot, and save it. Now, to repatch it with the same values, all we need to do is just refresh this, hit continue, and installation successful. Open this back up, and let's see if it works. There we go. So yeah, that's sliding across the page, but it's a little slow. I want it to be a little faster. So let's come back. Scroll amount, let's do 3. Patch it up. Refresh this. Watch. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Alright.